Hello there, welcome to another episode of the Allotment Dram. This is a series of short videos where we sit and talk about different whiskies in the surroundings of our North London allotment, and you join me here today on quite a blustery, breezy sort of day. It's a bit more like April rather than the start of July, you know, warm enough to be sat here in a t-shirt, but you know, there's been some showers, there's been sun, as I say, it's quite breezy. But you know, I've got on with a few jobs and it's lovely to be up here. This is the first episode for quite a while, a good 3 weeks or so. Had a very busy couple of weeks with some work, but also had a period where I had to self-isolate because I came into contact with someone who was COVID positive, but thankfully I'm negative, and that's all worked out, but you just have to go through that process, obviously. So it's been great to get back up here. Everything is really, you know, starting to come to fruition, literally. I've got some things to show you. I know some people enjoy this and some people don't, but hey, I'm going to do it anyway. But we've got some the last of the cherries here. The tree was absolutely heaving when I came up here first last week, you know, absolutely tons of them off there, but that's the last of them. We've got some strawberries as well, just a few of those. Again, there's been absolutely tons of those this year. Obviously a good year for strawberries. A few little red currants there as well. They're the first ones off the bush just over there. I've also got way more black currants. Look at those beauties. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those. The bush is still absolutely heaving with them, so I'm looking forward to picking some more of those on my next visit. Then we've also got some vegetables as well. We've got some of these lovely globe artichokes, which are just delicious with you know, sort of boiled or steamed with just simply some butter over the top. They're absolutely delicious. And then we've got a ton of these broad beans as well, which these have been going very, very nicely. Yeah, so the plant's still sort of coming with an absolute ton of those. But while that's all very interesting, you know, I am here to talk about whiskey. And what is the Allotment Dram? Today I hear you ask. Well, it's a very new whiskey, which I'm very excited to be talking about. Literally arrived at Whisky for Everyone HQ yesterday, and it is the Ardbeg 8 years old for discussion. Now this was literally only released on 1st of July, so normally my history of going for these limited releases is that I normally don't get them. You have to be pretty quick off the mark, and the Ardbeg website normally crashes, but it's for committee members only, so you have to be a member of that. But this time I was lucky enough, and as I say, it literally arrived yesterday all the way from Islay, so you know, very, very excited about that. What can I tell you about Ardbeg and the release itself? Well, Ardbeg's, you know, pretty old distillery, 1815. It's been there since, on the very south coast of that famous whisky island of Islay, and had quite a checkered history, particularly within the last sort of 5 or 6 decades, really from the 1950s to the 1990s. It had, like, you know, changes of ownership. There were some really fallow periods where it was either not in operation or operating literally for a couple of 3 weeks a year, just to keep it ticking over, you know, for various reasons. You know, its location, slump in Scotch whisky sales, all these factors kind of brought together to mean that it had a tough sort of few decades there. But then it was purchased by Moët Hennessy. Well, they were Glenmorangie group at the time, but it was part of that. It's now Moët Hennessy, and they're really the ones that have brought Ardbeg to what it is now, with this real sort of cult following, you know, of Islay whisky fans. As I say, there's the Ardbeg Committee. They founded that. It's now got over 100,000 members across the world, which is amazing. And you know, now to the point where, you know, the distillery is working full pelt, and they've expanded it, so it's now, instead of a 1 million litre a year distillery, it's now 2.5 million, almost 2.4 million litres. So yeah, a real success story for Ardbeg. But what can I tell you about this release, this Ardbeg Committee exclusive release, the 8-year-old for discussion. So this has been created by Dr. Bill Lumsden. He's the director of distilling and whiskey creation for Ardbeg, and he basically wanted to create something that challenged the committee members and started a conversation. So the idea here is that he's created something that he wants people to compare with what's currently in the core range. This is 100% sherry cask matured, and there's not really anything with too much sherry influence in the Ardbeg core range. There's only really the Ugadal that I can think of, and even then that's finished in sherry. So it started in bourbon cask and then finished in sherry. But this one has been in the sherry cask for the whole 8 years, and it's bottled at strength of 50.8% ABV, and it's natural colour and non-chill filtered as well, and actually quite a good price. I thought it was £57 plus postage, and it was exclusive just to the UK, so you could only get it if you were a UK member of the Ardbeg Committee. But it'll be interesting to see, sort of, as people start receiving their bottles, what they think and whether it does actually create that conversation, amongst fans and whiskey drinkers. So I think without further ado, I've been waiting to talk to you to actually open the bottle, so it was very difficult to not give in to temptation last night. But I've been going on for almost 7 minutes now about fruit, vegetables, Ardbeg history and the bottling itself, so I think it's time that we tried it. So here we are. Let's crack it open. We love that sound, so let's have a look. There we go. Just pop the lid back on there. So let's have a look. So actually quite a light colour. I mean, 100% sherry cask for 8 years. You'd maybe expect it to be a little bit deeper. You see sherry cask matured whiskies that are this sort of dark, sort of brownish amber sort of colour. But here you've got this really quite sort of nice sort of golden yellow colour. But yeah, let's have a smell. Yeah, immediately you've got, Ardbeg's known for its peaty, smoky style, as most of the Islay whiskies are. But here you've got this sort of earthy, slightly ashy, almost slightly sort of flinty quality to it. Quite sort of mineralic. That sort of phenolic, is phenol that comes out of the peat that gives smoky whiskey its sort of aroma and flavour. But that's the compound that locks into the barley and then carries through the process. But yeah, underneath there's I've got a bit of dried fruits coming from that sherry cask. There's a bit of toffee and butterscotch, and like a heather honey, maybe just like a twist of orange peel as well. But let's have a taste. Yeah, that's immediately quite punchy and smoky, as you would expect. But part of Dr. Bill's thinking, and they didn't say how many bottles there are of this, so when it's gone, it's gone. That's also part of being an Ardbeg Committee member, you take your chance. But part of Dr. Bill's thinking for this was that younger Islay whiskies, they tend to be quite punchy, very powerful, quite peppery, loads of chili, and sort of big punchy sort of smoky flavours. But that the sherry cask would kind of temper that a little bit, and I can see I think he's achieved that, because it's got all of those punchy characters, but then you've got this lovely sort of softer edge, which is like a sultana particularly. I'm getting there's some butterscotch, there's some sort of warming gentle spices, like a bit of almost like gingerbread, bit of maybe a pinch of cinnamon or something like that. But let's have another taste. Yeah, the balance is lovely between this, you know, smoke, this ashy, slightly charcoaly, earthy type of smoke, again with that mineralic quality, maybe a bit touch of seaweediness in there as well, but then this lovely juicy raisins, as I say, heather honey, there's a bit of toffee there as well. But yeah, delicious actually, you know, very, very pleased to have grabbed a bottle and finally broken my run of trying to get these bottles off the Ardbeg Committee on the day that they're released. But yeah, delicious. So I mean, if you've got a bottle on the way, you know, we'd love to hear what you think. You know, just add it in the comments below. You know, on the front it actually says on the label, just down here, which I know is very small for you to read, but it has been proposed that there is 1, an unmistakable smoky Ardbeg intensity, 2, a strong whiff of charcoal and creosote, 3, curious hints of something vegetal like fennel and celery mixed with wood smoke. So there you go, discuss in red. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to hear what people think, and you know, what you think if you've got a bottle on the way. But it's only really now actually, maybe it's the power of suggestion, that sort of slightly licorice, fennelly sort of quality is coming through, you know, right, and I've literally, 2 minutes ago since I last tasted it. So yeah, very, very good, and as I say, not bad for £57 plus, I think it was £7 or £8 for the postage from Islay. So yeah, lovely. But that's about it. I'm going to do a few more jobs here before I head home, and it's been great to be back up here and talking to you, and hopefully we'll see you again very soon. So from myself and the Ardbeg 8 years old for discussion, we will bid you farewell and see you next time. Bye bye.